The dust motes danced in the afternoon sun as Marcus pried the rusted panel from the hangar wall. His aunt had been adamant. There was nothing left of Grandpa Chen's old aerospace business except bills and broken dreams. But Marcus had never believed in empty spaces, not when they belonged to a man who'd spent 40 years staring at the sky. The panel gave way with a metallic screech, and behind it, wedged into a cavity that shouldn't exist, sat a titanium chest no bigger than a footlocker. Marcus's heart hammered as he dragged it into the light. The lock was biometric, ancient tech from the 2040s, but when he pressed his thumb against it, hoping the family genetics would be close enough, it clicked open. Star maps. Hundreds of them, printed on material that shimmered like liquid mercury. But these weren't the standard charts every pilot learned in academy. These showed routes through space that couldn't exist, shortcuts that violated everything humanity knew about physics. Marcus spread them across the oil-stained floor. Each map was annotated in his grandfather's precise handwriting, filled with calculations and coordinates. But it was the dates that made his blood run cold. The earliest map was dated 2047, 15 years before humanity's first successful FTL drive. Impossible, Marcus whispered. Beneath the maps lay a data crystal and a handwritten journal. Marcus inserted the crystal into his portable reader, and his grandfather's weathered face materialized in holographic form. If you're watching this, then I'm gone. And you're probably confused as hell. Grandpa Chen's recorded voice carried that familiar gravel. The roots are real, Marcus. All of them. And humanity didn't discover FTL travel, we remembered it. The hologram flickered. In 2046, I was hauling cargo to the Mars colonies when my ship's nav system went haywire. I dropped out of FTL in a sector that wasn't on any map. That's when I found it, the archive. Marcus's hands trembled as he opened the journal. The first page showed a sketch of something massive, a structure floating in the void, covered in geometric patterns that hurt to look at. It was a library. The hologram continued, left by someone, something that came before. Not just before us. Before everything. The archive contained the collected knowledge of 47 extinct civilizations, including one that had a very familiar designation, Human Classification Extinct. Timeline, Cycle 7. The word cycle was underlined 3 times in the journal. We've been here before, kid. Humanity has risen and fallen at least 7 times that the archive recorded. Each time we reached for the stars. Each time something wiped us out. But each time we left messages for ourselves, instructions, the FTL routes, the jump calculations, even the basic principles of the Alcubierre drive. We didn't discover them. We found our own homework from previous attempts at existence. Marcus sat back, his mind reeling. Every human achievement in space travel, every breakthrough that had seemed like genius, it was all just memory. I spent 20 years cross-referencing the archive's data, Grandpa Chen's hologram said. Every innovation that pushed humanity into the stars matched something in those ancient human records. The scientists who discovered FTL, they were working from research papers that paralleled archive documents almost word for word. It's like the knowledge seeps through somehow, buried in our genetic memory, waiting for us to be ready to understand it again. The hologram leaned forward, but here's the thing that kept me quiet all these years. Each previous human civilization had one thing in common. They all discovered FTL, they all expanded across the galaxy, and they all encountered the same thing that ended them. The archive called it the convergence, and according to the timeline, we're about 30 years away from meeting it ourselves. Marcus flipped through the journal frantically, page after page of his grandfather's research, trying to decode what the convergence was, how to prevent it. The last entry was dated 3 days before his death. I think I know what it is. It's not an enemy. It's not a disaster, it's us. Each cycle, we expand too fast, reach too far, and we fragment. We war with ourselves across the stars until there's nothing left. The archive showed it happening the same way. Every single time. We're not being killed, we're killing ourselves. The hologram's expression softened. I'm leaving this to you because you're young enough to do something about it. The maps in that chest don't just show routes through space. They show routes to archive caches scattered across the galaxy. Other libraries, other messages from our previous selves. Maybe if enough people know the truth, we can break the cycle. Maybe this time humanity doesn't have to fuck itself into extinction. The hologram faded, leaving Marcus alone in the silent hangar. He looked at the map spread before him, each one a testament to humanity's stubborn refusal to stay dead. 7 times extinct, 7 times reborn, and each time reaching for the stars with the same desperate hope. Marcus carefully gathered the maps and placed them back in the chest. His aunt was wrong, the hangar wasn't empty. It was full of the most valuable thing humanity had ever possessed. Proof that no matter how many times they failed, humans always came back. Always reached up, always tried again. He pulled out his communicator and began composing a message to every journalist, scientist, and government official he could think of. The cycle would end one way or another, but this time, humanity would face its future with eyes wide open, armed with the knowledge of its own resilience. After all, any species that could die 7 times and still come back for round 8 had earned the right to be a little cocky about its chances.